As one of the big three marine ecosystems, seagrass beds play a very vital role as primary producers in the ocean. And with the increasing environmental challenges such as climate change, ocean acidification, pollution, and biodiversity loss, seagrass beds provide diverse and invaluable ecosystem services. However, alongside mangroves and coral reefs, which is also the big marine ecosystems, seagrass beds are seldom recognized for their importance. They are also quite delicate, much like our hair. Activities such as nearshore fishing, bottom dwelling harvesting, and even the clam collection in the northern China waters often uproot the seagrass. When we went to did the field work, we found that when the waves are strong and seagrass would be washed ashore in heaps, much like our hair, right? And healthy seagrass beds are incredibly beautiful, teeming with various benthic organisms, fish, and even the dugong, so-called the mermaids in ancient China. Seagrass sways with the waves, creating a mesmerizing underwater spectacle. However, in people's collective memory, the concept of the seagrass is often hazy or even non existent. I once heard from a fellow that when they asked fishermen if they had ever noticed seagrass in the sea, some respond that they used to, but not anymore. In the past, there was so much seagrass that it would even got caught in their boat's engine. This made me wonder that whether they are referring to seagrass or seaweed. They are quite alike, both green and sometimes floating in the water, but seagrass can root, perform the photosynthesis through its leaves, and bloom in the seawater, and it's very different. And when I searched the historical records in the archives, I found that there was no clear distinction between seaweed and seagrass in the past. In the local gazetteers of the Qing dynasty in China, edible algae were referred to as sea vegetable. And in the early days of the Republic of China, newspaper referred to the industrial seaweed sargassum as the seagrass. And it wasn't until later that the Chinese scientific community officially differentiated between the seaweed and seagrass. The question of what seagrass truly is took us quite a long journey, I think. And seagrass is visible in shallow coastal waters, and when the tides roll in, but it becomes accessible in the distance. And speaking of this difficulty, the ancient Chinese certainly had a similar sentiment, which is beautifully captured in the poem, like not knowing the true face of Lu Mountain just because one is in the mountain. However, in today's world, our understanding of Lu Mountain is different from the past. Satellite maps provide a bird's eye view of the entire area, and geographic information technology can abstract and reproduce every detail and piece of information on the computer. The sense of mystery that comes from being unable to see the complete picture has vanished, replaced by an abstract model of Blue Mountain created through human technological means. To a certain extent, it has replaced the actual presence of Blue Mountain. And seagrass beds are similar in this regard. When exploring a seagrass bed in a marine area, we primarily rely on technology, and there is two common detection techniques. Area photography using drones, which is optical remote sensing from above, and another, the sonar service, which use the instruments to collect information following a great pattern underwater. Technology allow us to see the seagrass beds, kind of like opening up a new world. And there's a time during an interview with a staff member from China's Ministry of Natural Resources. She shared a fascinating experience. Like she was conducting seagrass bed monitoring, and their boat broke down while heading to a seagrass bed in the middle of the sea. They decided to wait for the boat to be repaired before continuing. During this time, one of them decided that they should test the drone since they had to wait anyway. But amazing thing is when the drone took off, they were all amazed to see that their boat was situated right above a vast seagrass bed when viewed from the air. The surroundings were all seagrass, but from the boat's head, it appeared to be a plain and unremarkable sea surface. And we can say that without drone technology, we could not have seen this seagrass bed. And we also interviewed villagers in coastal communities in Shandong province. There was a middle-aged man had an interesting perspective. He understood some science and could distinguish between two or three types of seagrass. He mentioned that in the past, when they went fishing at the seagrass beds, they couldn't even row the boat due to the dense seagrass. His sites were very crucial as they directly differentiated between seagrass and the seaweed. However, like in the coastal village in Shandong, the ability to distinguish seagrass is not that rare because there are traditional coastal houses in Shandong and they are called the seagrass houses. And they have roofs made from seagrass, providing a natural insulation. We have interviewed people currently living in those houses and former residents and the thatchers who make these roofs. They all talk about two different types of seagrass, both brought in by the waves. One type is finer and more flexible, while the other is wider and less flexible. In the past, the seagrass houses used the finer seagrass, but it has become scarcer and they now use the wider one, which is more common eelgrass found by the seaside. In the context of detection technology, we see seagrass beds, and this directly relates to people's needs. And villagers need to distinguish specific types of seagrass to build their houses, while the scientific researchers need to monitor seagrass beds to better understand their ecosystem. Technology is a valuable tool. If we start worshiping or relying on technology, it becomes problematic. I believe it's essential to pause and contemplate the significance of technology for people. Just because we create new technology, does that mean we must use it? Or taking a step back, do we need to wait for a new technology when we encounter an environmental problem? Like, I think technology is a means, but not an end itself. Before the advent of detection technology, we saw the seagrass beds as boundless. Now, this infinity can be quantified, and we can determine the extent of seagrass beds in thousands of hectares. It seems like human can control nature. We no longer living in the fear and uncertainty. We can industrialize seagrass farming and reintroduce it into the ocean, almost like moving the standardized flower pots. It appears that complex ecosystems can be simplified into mechanical operations where humans can intervene at any stage, potentially overshadowing all other life on Earth. Most of the time, in a technological context, we discuss whether we can do something but overlook the question of whether we should. I think technology is often treated as an end itself, which is a severe issue. Through the interviews with fishing communities, we found that cultural value of seagrass beds emerges beyond the detection technology. And in these differences, our interviewees noticed the changes in the ecological environment, but failed to establish consensus with current seagrass bed research and conservation efforts. And aligning the understanding of these two groups will be a crucial ecological baseline for seagrass bed research and conservation, and it can build decision awareness and foster broader public engagement. And balancing between original environmental perception and technology driven research perspectives will be a cornerstone for realizing the value of ecological products and directly addressing environmental externalities. And it can preserve ecosystem functionality and integrity and also build future funding possibilities. And that's basically our work. However, I'd like to conclude with a more poetic note. We heard the same phrase like twice during our interviews in two different provinces in China. They express in similar ways. What's in the mountains can also be found in the sea. I think, like, upon the reflection, this saying is a simple and non-utilitarian observations of our nature. And it reminds us that we don't need technology to see nature. I don't think we should focus on nature solely for its utility to us humans. And even the seemingly useless aspects of nature are very worth appreciating. And that's all I want to share today. Thank you.